Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News, and today I'm giving you guys an update on Cardano ADA. A little while ago, I asked you people, what coin would you like to get an update on? And obviously, one of the coins you guys were commenting like crazy was XRP, but I comment about that all the time. One of the coins I saw like crazy was Luna, but we've been busy with that every single day. The third one I noticed was ADA, Cardano ADA. And so today we're doing a juicy update on everything that's going on, everything you need to know, everything I'm predicting in terms of price, and everything around that. So if you're a Cardano holder or you want to know more about it, just watch this video. So a quick little rundown for all of you that do not know what Cardano is. One of the things I recommend you the most to do is to just go over to either CoinMarketCap or to type in what is Cardano, because the best way to find out what something is to read about it, and honestly, it's not the best to watch it in a YouTube video because you get a very small explanation most of the time. Then again, in easy words, it's an open source proof of stake blockchain that is looking to basically empower an entirely new generation through a new approach, which is basically peer-reviewed, but more about that in just a second. It is pretty similar to Ethereum in a lot of ways, except for the fact that Ethereum is not proof of stake yet, and again, this peer-reviewed little term is going to get quite important later on. Well, mostly, you'll see. Let's quickly cover what's going on right now, right? Because I have so many articles open here about everything. Right now, people are getting really hyped up for the next big thing. Now, if you didn't know, Cardano works in epochs where every little while there's a big new update, but basically every little while there's something happening. So there's always something to look forward to. Now, the next big thing, however, is the vaso hard fork. If you want to know exactly where you can find this, I would honestly recommend you to just type in Cardano roadmap and you'll find every single thing that's happening in the near term. And Charles Hoskinson, also the founder, updates everybody over on Twitter and over in YouTube for videos and whatnot. However, you can see here over on the roadmap, there's different phases, and within those phases, there's different parts and everything. You can check the status. You could also, however, look up an epoch calendar for Cardano to basically look at every single event that's coming up. Short answer is that every epoch is a reward cycle of 5 days, and so forth and so on. It says right here in the update, upcoming Vaso update will introduce 4 different CIPs. Now, CIPs is pretty similar to EIPs that you have for Ethereum, the only difference being Ethereum replaced with Cardano, and it basically stands for Cardano Improvement Proposal. And if you scroll down here, Cardano founder Charles has stated that the Vaso hard fork remains on schedule. Cardano and its smart contract platform Plutus are set to undergo significant enhancements in the Vaso hard fork, slated for June 29th. To that end, IOHK hints that the testnet might launch by the end of May. There's one thing I should really make clear right here. Whenever there's an update like this, people usually buy the rumor, sell the news, so I can honestly not tell you that it's a really good idea to buy after this update has gone or just before the update has gone, since everybody knew that this update was coming. The only question in our minds is what exact date, and the fact the market is in such a volatile period right now, and the fact that it's pretty far away, and a lot of people don't understand the exact updates and changes, makes it very difficult to place a buy before such a big update, even though it is very significant. Another small little problem, or maybe not problem, but a little lesser point, is the fact that a lot of the things which Cardano updates on are not necessarily for the traditional normal investor. No, they're more so for developers and the core audience of Cardano, which very much insists on being inside everything and kind of voting on a lot of things, helping out with a lot of things, and mostly writing or proposing. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but definitely the culture amidst the Cardano community is a lot to provide feedback and to share, help, think. As I said before, they have a peer-reviewed approach. So what Cardano's guys often do is they don't want to fully make you rely on yourself to build things. No, what they want to do is they write a lot of ideas, write a lot of proposals, and they basically kind of work on what exactly was thought out first and thought out properly. There's a very big difference between different blockchains and how they operate, how they want to get big. Cardano is a little bit late to the layer 1 race because obviously they've not been alive for too long, where a couple of others have had advantages for years. So they have to catch up in some way, shape, or form. And one of the ways in which they've done that is to make sure they're not the first to get major new changes in, but they're the guys to do it properly and to think every scenario through before implementing something, which at the end of the day might be way better. Because if you don't make the big mistakes, you learn from the mistakes that others have made, you might become a lot more resilient then, right? Just something that I've been thinking about. Then again, there's another very big plus to it, which is the fact that they very often like to build these core fundamentals out so that because the language actually to program this, Haskell, is actually rather difficult, what they've decided to do for the most part is write a beginning stage for a lot of different applications and whatnot, so you can take it over that little basis part and build it out. Again, guys, if I'm wrong on anything in this video, please let me know in the comment section down below. This is obviously my research, but it's just me researching over on the interwebs, and I can sometimes be wrong. At the end of the day, though, I think I'm only saying good stuffs here because Cardano has been one of my long-time holds, which you'll see a little bit further in this video. This article was actually talking about one thing they were very excited about. Quote, "Been waiting a long time for this," end quote, says Charles Hoskinson. Apparently, he expressed his happiness at publishing a new white paper, or a new paper of sorts. "It's a major piece of work," says the founder. The paper is titled "The General's Scuttlebutt, Byzantine Resilient Gossip Protocols." And apparently, it's a major piece of work formalizing P2P and discussing how hard in practice getting proof-of-stake networking right is. So again, what exactly is the purpose of this? Is it to increase the resiliency of Cardano itself? That is hard to say. I can definitely assure you that a lot of the things which Charles has written don't necessarily have any literal application that I can think of from the get-go, but a lot of it is to actually, I would say, increase the knowledge of the general populace regarding topics which he is interested in, and I can never say that it's actually a bad thing as to what he's publishing. Whether or not it's all right, that's not for me to discuss right here. Cardano has actually been doing a couple of things which a lot of people don't know about. For example, Cardano has a very big venture over in Africa, which a lot of other blockchain projects like to stay away from. Very often it is said that that's not where the money lies, or even if it does lie there, that's not where a crypto project gets its money from, and so they don't really have anything to seek right there. Then again, Cardano has had a big mission there. They had an entire tour over in Africa last year, and they've been doing a lot in Ethiopia and a couple of other countries which I've forgotten the name of. And I think they're actually doing a lot of different things as well. One thing that I remember is that they were trying to go for this digital ID, or basically making a lot of things more blockchain because things are not properly stored in some places or not properly verifiable, which is a good venture. I think it's a really good idea. And I've talked about this a lot of times on my channel, just to quickly give you guys a reminder. If we're talking about what other parts are good, I can actually sit here for a long while and explain what parts of Cardano are good. However, a lot of it comes to what's going to be good, as right now Cardano is still in a pretty much infancy stage if you ask me. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second as to how they're thinking of growing, which is going at a rapid race, by the way, or rapid pace, I should say. Then again, Charles Hoskinson and all the guys over on there are pretty excited about how the way in which they've handled things. For example, Cardano uses an innovative extended unspent transaction output, which is an eUTXO model. They said the best part of their model is that it exposes how little some DApp developers know about functional programming. Oh, sorry guys, about eUTXO as a whole. They said about Cardano that it has a major trade-off by relying on a UTXO model instead of an account model. The disadvantages of a UTXO model far outweigh the advantages, from a worse user experience to ADA smart contracts being far more limited. I will cover these fundamental flaws here. Now, as I said before, guys, this for a normal traditional user is absolutely not relevant. I don't think 99% of the people who hold Cardano will actually know this, nor care. I just meant to show you guys this for a quick little second as to how a lot of people are excited for a lot of the features which Cardano has because they think things through, all right? Even though I might not understand a lot of these different parts from what exactly they got, purely because it's not my specialty nor what I focus on, it's still something nice to have, even though I can't fully judge on all these parts myself. Actually funny, over on Twitter, Shibatoshi, the guy behind Dogecoin, he said the best part of a UTXO is like 100 people know what it actually is, which I think is indeed kind of funny and very much true. Regarding that, I've been thinking for a little bit, right? A lot of people don't know. Do you actually know that you can track whales for purchases and whatnot? A lot of people do that. Then again, a lot of people do not know that you can track where the big money is going. Many people say that crypto is actually a really fun thing because you can see publicly people's money. You can see how it moves as well. Cardano's whales are buying the dip as retail interest in ADA takes unexpected turn. These articles you'll see all the time. Very often they'll say one thing, very often they'll say another. I don't really judge them too much. I don't really use them for anything too much. I sometimes overcheck what the sentiment from the whales is, and I've noticed, yeah, people are very excited about Cardano on every single layer. I think it partially is so because the price did such a crazy performance in 2021. I guess I maybe should even say 2020, huh? As basically at the end of 2020, it was around, let's say, 17 cents. Somewhere throughout 2021, it was $3 or so. And as you'll see in just a second over on my own channel, on YouTube here, this is still public, I believe. I've been posting about it. The earliest video I could find is the 17th of April, 2018. rather funny. Then again, I've been posting videos about Cardano for way longer than that, I think, right? Why? Well, because they were actually not completely live in the fullest when I started talking about it before. There were a lot of, like, Cardano goes back a long time, right? You guys can understand this. It goes back a long time. Even during this entire process, so much has changed to Cardano. There was nothing for this entire journey. I think Cardano only went live maybe somewhere at the midst of 2021 or something like that. I can't even remember when they actually start to really get something going. But it's only until really recently that they're actually starting to get things going. If you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about Cardano in the sense that they're just this idea, and that's been going on for years and years and years. It really took a lot of time before the first fundamental pieces start to be put into stone instead of just being on a piece of paper. Then again, they have big plans. Charles Hoskinson on how Cardano could have the third largest DeFi TVL. He said on Twitter, "Fun fact, if you counted the staked ADA, Cardano's TVL would be over $19 billion. Why don't we count it? Because you don't need to lock your ADA to stake it." It's actually pretty significant. Now, Cardano may not be counted as a leader in the DeFi space. It sure isn't. But when it comes to networks with the largest percentage of stake supply, the network features at the top of the list. With more than 72% of the total supply staked, Cardano sees billions of dollars already staked on the network. But why is this not calculated in the official TVL values? No, I don't really care about that, nor should you most likely. It is over interesting how dedicated to the core people are, right? And again, a lot of the Cardano people, they know how staking works, and they want to stake and they want to be involved. You can see more and more people joining ADA as well. Number of Cardano addresses sets new record of 5.2 million. That is huge. Again, it's hard to say relatively how big of a deal this is. Is Cardano the biggest crypto? No. Will it ever become the biggest? Hard to say. Again, they're very infant still. If I compare it to an Ethereum, for example, they're nothing, right? Then again, yeah, for how far they've come, they're doing a pretty good job. And if you compare it in the way in which it was structured, they're doing a really good job as well. And what I mean with that little structured comment right there is the fact that Cardano really isn't that far in what they're planning to do. Yet the fact that it's got so much attention and so many users is pretty mind-boggling. Here's another little confirmation of that. As Cardano addresses set a new record, ADA holders should be thankful for. Not really sure, to be honest. Maybe Bitcoin or so. I'm not really sure what they were supposed to say, nor why I should care about that. But if you go down a little bit, there's actually a fun comment. Ran from Crypto Banter said, "Hey, Charles, said in a video, I'm a huge fan and also hold ADA, but which DEX can actually do fast transactions today with reasonable volume? Please don't say this specific DEX." Charles says, "What are you talking about, boy? DEXs on Cardano are handling more load today than a launch of that specific DEX, Sunday swap, and settlement time is sub-minute. Wing Riders in particular is running extremely fast. You're spreading misinformation, don't know why, but you are." Regarding that, there's a lot of things happening over on Cardano right now. Multi-protocol decentralized exchange, this one, is set to launch its DEX on Cardano, and there's actually a lot of these things coming up. One of the main problems with Cardano in getting this traction was the fact that they didn't really have too much going on. But as you can see from this article, they have some big plans, all right? And Charles actually talked about how they could probably make a lot of these other different sorts of stablecoins work by, for example, over-collateralizing. And if you're talking about algorithmic stablecoins, the concept is not bad. The way in which Luna had done it was just not the best way. And Charles was definitely very heavy on that, mostly because they have a JED stablecoin, this new concept, this new idea. And people were heavily shooting it like crazy over the last couple of days. But Charles went over on Twitter to basically deflect all these comments and explained how it's pretty resilient. Then again, this whole ordeal is not live officially just quite yet, so people couldn't crash it anyway if they wanted to, just on testnet if I'm not mistaken. What is live though and what is going on is one thing that you guys can always do and kind of prepare for. So I've described this to a lot of my friends about Ethereum, and that is seek for opportunities that are free. One thing you can always do is go to CoinMarketCap, join a lot of those giveaways or so. You're not going to get much money, but sometimes you will. Sometimes there's a juicy one in there, and it usually isn't a lot of effort. However, and this is way more important, since Cardano is so up and coming, I don't have the DEX I don't have the DApp numbers in front of me because I'm not sure that's relevant, how many exactly there are. It's about what's going to come. But if you kind of think about where Cardano is at right now and the fact they're rapidly growing, rapidly seeking for more DApps, rapidly seeking for more developers, even though they got a good base of that already, they're just looking for more new projects to actually build out and branch out. They have a couple of basic things they need as the stablecoin and whatnot to actually keep growing, but you guys get the idea. There's also going to be a lot of opportunities to be early with projects. I've said before, a lot of DEXs, it's worth it to just use them once, purely so you might eventually actually get an airdrop from it or something like that. So A lot of my people on the channel here as well, have been in the crypto space for a long while. If you used Uniswap, if you used 1inch, if you used a couple of others, I forgot the name, ENS, not a DEX, but right, over on Ethereum, you would have gotten yourself potentially tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for just utilizing it for a little bit. That's why people were so just like, whoa, for OpenSea to eventually get some sort of airdrop going to their the users, basically, because that would mean they would get a lot of free money as well. And the same thing can happen for a lot of the projects over on Cardano, that if you just utilize it once, since it's so new, some of these things might eventually get big traction. And if you get one of those Uniswaps, for example, that can be a couple tens or a couple hundreds of thousands yet again. And the reason I'm saying that for Cardano rather than Ethereum or so is because on Ethereum, these core apps are already extremely popular. So if there's a new one, it's going to be a disruptor. It's going to be harder to find. With Cardano, a lot of these new projects coming on are like the first of its kind. So there's a very good chance that because it's first of its kind, it's going to actually get high up there in the rankings. So that's something to kind of realize, think about. And in terms of price, I don't have an article for that, but if you're asking me where do I think it's going to go to, in the past, I've bought Cardano for lots of different prices. My average price of Cardano cannot be above 3 cents or so. Here in 2018, the price was 25 cents when I was making this video, for example. Later on in 2020, I talked to you guys about how much Cardano I'm buying at the 2 or even 1 point something maybe cent mark. I can't really remember. I think it was maybe 2 cents or so. But yeah, in 2020 it was 2 cents. It's been 2 cents for a very, very long time. Just understand that, right? It's been low, let's say below 5 cents or so, even in 2018. So a little bit later than when I made the video, because that was after the bull run, after the big spike all the way back then. So for me, it doesn't really matter where it comes or where it goes, which is why I think I give you guys a real honest opinion, because at the end of the day, I don't really care. I've gotten such a nice juicy X on my Cardano. It doesn't matter that much anymore. But whenever I look at the price, and this is not financial advice, purely my speculation, my idea, based on everything I find in the crypto space, is that the all-time high was not really that high. Then again, it was premature. Let me explain. I think that this value was reached purely on the idea and hype of Cardano. People thinking, oh, Cardano's going to do this, Cardano's going to do that, and it pumped the price. However, that's also what happened back in 2018, because there was absolutely nothing when the price pumped. We saw that for XRP and stuff in that time as well. There wasn't really much to pump the price, but it did. Right now, however, we've already gotten so much further than we were in August of 2021. It's like it's a completely different ballpark, which makes me think, okay, if it could actually reach $3 at that point without real utility, without a real anything, basically, a little bit over half a year later, the price, theoretically speaking, right, in terms of what people should give for it, if we were in another bull run or so, should most likely be significantly higher. I'm talking like double at least or so, just based upon logic. Then again, the fact that we're in another bull run, and the fact that if Bitcoin bounces up from 25,000 where it was at right now and whatnot, again, that basically depends on what Bitcoin's going to do. If Bitcoin sets a very low level, I would say below 20,000 or so, we're going to scratch a little bit off my expectation. If Bitcoin, however, stays above 20,000 for the next couple of weeks, does not actually correct below it, then my predictions for Cardano are also extremely high, mostly based upon the idea that people are not used to these crazy low levels. Cardano right now is at 50 cents or so. This is mind-boggling because the last time we saw that was in January of 2021, sure. But the lower we go, the more we're starting to go into really like 2020 type of prices, and people are going to be a little bit mesmerized by all that. I just personally think it's going to have a good, juicy little bounce here as a lot of people pick it back up. Then again, in terms of end goal, there isn't really one. I just expect this coin to honestly do really well based upon the utility and the fact they took so long to get things done, but are finally starting to pay up on their promise. And so I wouldn't be surprised if people would not sell their Cardano for under $20 or so. I wouldn't be surprised at that idea. I personally don't think I will ever let any Cardano go below $20 or so. Then again, that is just my own opinion. You don't have to respect that. Please don't trust me in any way, shape, or form with your money either. And again, guys, I'm not going to DM you for any investment advice or anything like that. If there's a scammer down there, or let me say it like this. If somebody DMs you, it's most likely a scammer. I'm not going to give you my number. I'm not going to send you a message telling you I have some good idea for you. So be careful with that. And that was it for today's update. I was in Cardano. I'm very excited about the project. Then again, there are some flaws, but I'm very excited about the project. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Press the like button if you enjoyed it as well. I'll see you guys again in another one. Sorry for the little darker camera, but hey, you know, it lights off, so I turned on some lights myself.